Hey folks, stick around because coming up next is DC News number 97. We are going beyond the DC universe and talking about the new Deadwardians, which is a new series coming to Vertigo sometime very, very soon in 2012. Also, we're going to talk about Scott Snyder and Sean Murphy's upcoming project, which is going way off into the future, but we're going to talk about it and what they're doing with that. Also, American Vampire, we've got some information on their upcoming story arc. Watchmen 2 is about to be inflicted on us very, very soon, and there's art out on that, but don't tell anybody or you'll get sued. And we're also going to talk about Paul Jenkins, possibly, probably on Stormwatch. All that and more coming right up.
Alternate Reality now opens at 10:30 instead of 11 on Sundays. It's like half an hour sleep over this, so you guys better show up.
When DC Comic Books does something, Bo just can't wait to tell you. Squealer.
Is this any way to run an elective surgical center? DC Comic Book News, episode 97. I'm misunderstanding.
Hey folks, how you doing? Comic Book Man here. Welcome once again to my video outhouse. It's time for
DC News.
DC News, and DC News is coming to you from this place, Alternate Reality, which is located at the intersection of 111th and Kedzie in beautiful downtown Mount Greenwood. Alternate Reality, where all new DC comics are always 15% off every day for everyone. We are going beyond the DC universe for this edition of DC News, and we're going to start off with Vertigo. Vertigo, Danny Abnett will be writing an 8-issue limited series called
New Deadwardians.
What's a New Deadwardian?
Well, it's a series that'll take place in post-Victorian England, and it'll have vampires against zombies.
Now, is this like that thing that Wildstorm did a couple of years ago with monsters in a Victorian England?
No, although I think
Victorian Undead or what
Ian
was
Edgington or Abnett worked on that. He worked on that Sherlock Holmes zombie thing for Vertigo as well.
Yeah.
This has nothing to do with it. The hook with this series is in this post-Victorian England. Mm-hmm. The upper class people have turned themselves into vampires.
That's thinking, boy.
Because the lower class people are all zombies.
Oh, I hate it when that happens.
And they don't want to be associated with those lower class people.
Do they have class problems in England?
Oh, well, in post-Victorian England, yeah, they did. They used to
crap
crap
on... They still do.
They used to
they
crap
still
on
do.
They used to crap on the streets over there.
They still do.
They still crap on the streets over there.
Well, I don't know.
Especially outside the pubs. Oh, man, you can't even walk over there. It's not good.
Allison, I'm sorry. He said it. I didn't. I didn't, Allison. He did.
You know, they drink warm beer. There's something wrong with that.
They're fine.
There's something wrong with
They're fine. So, this book is coming out when?
It's coming out March.
March. Yes, March.
It should be mentioned in the next previews catalog.
It's in the current issue of previews. It's in
scary.
the current previews catalog because it's part of my discount package for pre-ordering comics. 4 Vertigo titles, number 1s, are coming out this month. In the January catalog, New Deadwardians and Saucer Country and the new Fables book, Fairest. And I forget what the 4th one was, but there's 4 of them altogether, some voodoo thing. But anyway, all 4 of them are 45% off, and there's a bunch of backlist stuff for Vertigo, Fables-related stuff that you can get for for 50% off.
Sign up!
If you sign up, if you see this before the deadline, which I think is January 25th. So
you got time. Sign up.
If you're around, stop by the store and get yourself all those wonderful books at 45% off.
At least Saucer Country.
Pre-order.
Country looks kind of interesting.
Okay, moving on. Over in the Vertigo universe, Scott Snyder and Sean Murphy are working on what?
They're going to do a new science fiction series for Vertigo that'll come out in early 2013.
A year from now?
Well,
why are we talking about it now?
Because they just announced it. And
it's a year from now.
It's a year from now, but they're going to be teasing artwork and stuff. Because Sean Murphy did Joe the Barbarian.
Yes.
Scott Snyder is American Vampire.
Yes.
And he apparently needs other things to do besides doing that and other things.
Okay. Speaking of American Vampire...
That and Vertigo has a lot of crap coming out.
Speaking of American Vampire... There will be a mini-series set in...
London, England.
We're back in London again. We just can't get away from London.
We're going back to London to see what the London base...
Do they still have zombies and vampires there?
No, I don't think this has anything to do with the class war between the zombies and the vampires. Although, because there's really no zombies in American Vampire, because otherwise, what would you call the series American Vampire?
Yes.
They have werewolves, though.
Okay. Moving on, outside of the DC universe, at least it should still be outside of the DC universe, but apparently it won't be, but this still should be. Watchmen 2 is going to be inflicted on us sometime this year.
The fine folks at Bleeding Cool, Rich Johnson, they
Yes,
found
that's
some,
a website, by the way,
It's
for
a-
those
it's
of
a
you who
website.
don't know what the internet is.
They found a couple promo pieces. They found
Yes.
the Kubert Brothers version of, I think, Night Owl.
Okay.
And they found a version of the Silk Spectre.
Okay.
And they posted the promo art online, and then the fine people over at DC and their lawyers went, "Get that the hell off of your website." So they took it off. So if
Or
you've
we'll
got
sue,
it,
or we'll sue you.
yeah, or we'll sue you. So if you've got it, it's yours. Just try to post it. I was actually going to use a comedian. It was a comedian thing. I was going to use it as my Facebook picture, but it was gone before I got a chance to steal it.
Man, what was he doing?
He's just smiling with a big gun in his hand, with a
Great.
cigar in his mouth.
Well, he's nuts.
But
So it's rocketing its way towards us as we speak.
I think DC's supposed to make the big announcement about this project either late January or early February. Some convention coming up.
Okay.
By the way, something offhand. This is just thrown out here. Grant Morris is going to have his own convention this year. That's just
Really?
weird. Yes.
Where's he planning on having it?
I
at?
think he's having it in Scotland. It's going to be the Grant Con. It's
Grant-
all about Grant Morrison. That's just so weird.
24. Grant Morrison. All Grant Morrison all the time.
Yes.
Last story we have up isn't part of, or wasn't part of, the DC universe until August when it got mainstream.
It got moved in.
But I'm counting it as outside of the DC universe, even though it's incredibly mainstream now. And
Well,
that's,
not exactly. They said that they're going to explain that this has everything to do with everything.
well, we're talking about Stormwatch. Stormwatch, which used to be which used to be the corner linchpin authority,
The big
authority
part of
the Wildstorm universe, which doesn't exist anymore. But now it's the DC universe because we're all one big happy fleet now. So what's going on with Stormwatch?
Well, we already told you that Paul Jenkins is going to write at least 2 issues of Stormwatch. He says he'd love to do more, and DC has to ask him to do it first.
Oh, please. Oh, they have to ask him. Well, if they ask me, then maybe, but I won't otherwise.
Because he
if
said,
I get asked to the prom,
because I mean,
I'll go.
apparently he's, they came to him. Paul Cornell was removed from the book.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah, well, we've talked about
Yeah,
that.
he was,
we talked about that
taken
previous
off
news.
the book.
Yeah, he was yanked off
but
the
yeah,
book.
he's coming in. He's coming into these.
Paul,
two
we love what you're doing on the book. Go.
Yeah, go over there and work on the other stuff you're working on. You can keep doing Demon Knights, but we don't want you to do with Stormwatch, even though the two of them are connected by the hip.
Yeah.
But he says, Jenkins has no actual total assignment over at DC. He's sort of just throwing in there and filling in as it's going.
Okay.
And so he said, I got a whole bunch of ideas I could do with Stormwatch, and I always wanted to work with Stormwatch. So if you want to, I'll be more than willing to stay. And since they haven't hired anyone after these 2 issues,
Yeah.
Jenkins is probably going to be the permanent writer on the book.
Well, there you go. You can take that to the bank.
He
Or
likes
not.
them. He's English. And besides, he's English.
Well, good for him.
you go,
What does that have to do with anything?
Because most of the people who were really good on Stormwatch have all been English. Remember
Yeah.
the last incarnation of Stormwatch had the 2 American writers working on it? That sucked.
Well, Warren Ellis was the guy.
Warren Ellis was the guy who basically turned it into a big deal.
turned it into a big deal, which became the authority.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. And that's it. We're done. We're finished. We're out of here. We have got no more DC news, but you can go to the store's website, check out all the DC news this man sends me that I post up there eventually. And where is the store's website at? Where?
Sarah, tell them, please.
www.myalternatereality.com. We took down the picture of Bo and his Speedo, so now it's safe to go back.
So, go to the store's website, check out all of his news, and until next time, this is Comic Book Man.
And this is Grant Molson saying, I
love you, Allison.
The Video Outhouse is brought to you by some of the finest people willing to work for free. This is a list of some of them.